Tottenham against West Ham, a game that they're dubbing as the El Sacico, the El Crapico. Both these teams coming into it in, pretty poor form. Do you believe that if West Ham lose this game, Nuno's gone? If Spurs lose this game, Frank's gone? Is this an El Sacico?
No, I don't actually.
Even with Nuno?
Yeah, even with Nuno. I think they're going to keep him. I think they're making signings this window. I think they realised he's their best shot, I think, of staying up. Albeit, when was the last time they actually won a game? I don't even know.
A long time ago.
They did just beat QPR in the FA Cup. The last time they won in the league was Burnley on the 8th of November. So they haven't won in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games. They're 10 games out of win.
Perfect time to play Tottenham then.
Exactly. And I think what would really have been setting alarm bells was the Wolves game, obviously losing 3-0 to them. They'll be looking at that situation thinking, okay, maybe he really has lost the dressing room and lost the players at the moment. But I think even unless it's like a real drubbing tomorrow, as long as it's like a defeat in a fairly tight game, I think he'll be safe. I think they're going to keep him.
If there's a 4-0 either way, is there a sacking?
If there's a 4-0, I think there probably is, yeah.
Either
way. I think if we lose 4-0 tomorrow, I don't think Frank survives that. I really don't. I think that will be confirmation, okay, this guy really ain't working. Because I think at the moment, I think where the board's head is at is clearly they're seeing what they're seeing. It is not really working on the pitch. We're losing games, but, the games are tight. The defensive record on paper, has improved a bit. We are doing stuff from set pieces. As you say, in the last few games, there's been a bit more attacking football. There's literally scraps, but, we have seen like 10 to 15 minutes a game of attacking football rather than like literally none, like we saw for a lot of the season. And, the games are tight. We're losing by the odd goal at the moment. And, the league table is so tight that a couple of wins, we could be back up there, back in the European Challenge. And we want to give this manager time. He's been a big face of the rebuild as well.
Still a bit of hope.
There's maybe there's a bit of hope, but I think if we lose heavily at home to a West Ham team who are winless in 10, considering we just lost to a team who are winless in 11 against Bournemouth in our last Premier League game, if we lose now to this West Ham team, considering it's a London derby, they're absolute dog shit, and it's another home game, I don't think they would be able to look at that situation and say, okay, this guy's worth backing anymore. I think they would have to make a change at that point, in my opinion.
Yeah, particularly of like the teams that they've been struggling against, like 3-0 against Wolves. That's an embarrassment, man. That's the most embarrassing result of the season so far.
Yeah.
That 3-0. They go to they play Nottingham Forest. They lose that game, which was a 6-pointer. They play QPR in the FA Cup. It had to go to penalties, didn't it? Or
no,
was it extra time?
No,
extra time it had to go to. So, I mean, like, they are not really a match for anyone right now, West Ham. But we've seen it plenty of occasions where West Ham have just been so down in the dumps, so crap, and they seem to turn it around and turn it on for Tottenham Hotspur.
Here's my fear in this game. I think we're going to try and start the game like we did against Sunderland, like we did against Bournemouth. Try and start on the front foot and take the game to them, and hopefully they struggle with that and we can break the deadlock. My fear is if we do go behind in this game, will we be able to turn it around? That's my biggest fear, I think. How many times have we actually turned around a game to win this season when losing?
How many times have we turned around? Well, we haven't won many games, so.
No. Have we turned around a game to win?
I don't think we have. I think we've only won once whilst we've been in front.
We drew to Brighton when 2-0 down. We drew with Bodo when 2-0 down. Have we actually won a game when losing?
I don't think we've won a game in Leeds.
No, we weren't losing.
No, we went 1-1. Leeds.
Even Wolves, we were losing. We didn't turn that around.
I think Leeds is the only game we've won and conceded.
Really?
Yeah,
is that right?
That's what it looks like. Yeah, I think it is. Leeds is the only game we've won and conceded.
Wow, didn't know that stat. That's also worrying in a weird way because it means we don't respond well to conceding.
Because our wins in the Premier League this season: Burnley 3-0, Man City 2-0, West Ham 3-0, We beat Villarreal 1-0 in the Champions League, 3-0 against Doncaster in the Cup, 2-1 against Leeds, 3-0 against Everton, 4-0 against Copenhagen, 2-0 against Brentford, 3-0 against Prague, 1-0 against Palace. That's all our wins.
Well, so for me, that's my biggest fear of going into this game for this team. If we were to go behind, will we be able to turn it around? And I'm really doubtful, because once a team gets into a settled shape against us, we seem to run out of ideas very quickly. I think once the game is open, once it's like, 0-0, we're drawing, and, the other team is still looking to kind of win the game or get a goal or something and leave a bit of space, I think we're a threat in those situations. But once a team just gets entrenched, we're going to defend this, we're going to ask you all the questions, we really, really struggle. So if we do go behind in this game, I am worried we're not going to be able to turn it around. If we take the lead, I'm confident we can manage that situation and manage that game. Although the longer this game stays 0-0, the more the pressure's going to build as well. If it's 0-0 at half time, regardless of how we play, there's probably going to be boos or whatever in the stadium. Like the longer we go without scoring, the pressure's going to build in this game, isn't it? It's going to be a bit of it's going to be a kind of difficult situation to manage, I feel, unless we get the lead early.
Yeah, and I think it's a possibility that we do that. I think that we've got more quality than them. We're at home where, obviously our home form's been disastrous this season, but I think it's been slightly better over the past month or so. We just need to put everything aside and just go at them from the first minute. And if we do that, I'm confident that we'll find the back of the net. And I think once we do go 1-0 up, I think West Ham can crumble a little bit. And if we score early, I think it could be a bit of a battering. It could be about 2-3-0. So, yeah, look, we just got to put all the negative thoughts aside at the beginning of this game. Just literally go hell for leather at them. Press them high up the pitch. We've got Conor Gallagher there now. He's going to add an extra incentive in terms of how well we're going to be able to press them. And we know what West Ham have shown this season. They sometimes, start games well. But like many teams that, are low on confidence, once you get one past them, the floodgates can open a little bit. And I think that's what will probably happen in this game.
And we saw against Wolves that first half, they crumbled, didn't they? It was 3-0 by half time. Against Forest, so they did work quite good in the first half. They were 1-0 up. And unfortunately, it turned on a decision, which I thought was unjust. They had a goal ruled out, which would have put them 2-0 up. And then a few minutes later, they go 1-1, and all of a sudden, things went against them. I think West Ham, it's one of those teams where, yes, every Premier League team has, players to be worried about. Obviously, in West Ham's case, it's Jared Bowen, and he's the big one, isn't he? And he plays on the last line. He's always looking to get in behind. We're going to be worried about him. Obviously, thankfully, we do have Van der Ven, so there's one player you want in that situation is someone like Van der Ven, who's got that amazing recovery pace if need be. Just stop him getting in behind. Make sure he's not exploiting any of the space that we're going to leave. But I hope Frank doesn't overcorrect, because Bowen is very good at getting in behind. They're very good at finding him as well. That's pretty much what their game is geared towards, is just getting Bowen in behind. And I hope Frank doesn't adjust too much to stop that happening, and more focuses on what we're doing, just going at them. And get flooding players forward, because I think they will struggle to handle that if we do that.
Yeah, I mean, you look at this West Ham side, their back four, I mean, there's nothing to worry about there. Todibo, obviously, we had everyone, he was highly rated before he joined West Ham, but he's been a disaster of a signing, really, in their back four. Mavropanos, Scarles, Walker-Peters, I mean, our attack, however much you rate them or don't rate them, that's a back four that they should be able to handle. Their midfield, I think the only three players in their team that I rate a little bit are Fernandes in their midfield. I think he's a good player. Bowen, obviously. And Somerville. I think Somerville, on his day, can cause you problems, but he's very inconsistent. So if he turns up and he wants it that morning, and he runs, he's a tricky player to handle sometimes.
Yeah.
So those are the three players, and obviously Lucas Paquetá as well. But it remains to be seen if he's even going to play or not. He desperately wants out apparently, and wants to go back to Brazil. So if Paquetá doesn't play, then that's one less player to worry about.
Just Tottenham for him to play this game in his final game, score a goal, and see off his the West Ham fans with a winner or something, or an equaliser. That would just be typical. But on paper their team isn't dreadful, but I think the way the team is set up, And I think as well the attributes the team has, they're lacking some certain things. They're lacking in the centre of that pitch massively physicality, and they get overrun constantly in every game in that central area, and I think that's going to be crucial.
It's because they keep persisting with Thomas Souček, man. Like, that guy has no legs.
Yeah,
he's literally got no legs. Like, he's good for a set piece goal, but that's about it.
Unless you're playing him like Fellaini, I don't see the point in having him. On
the pitch, and he got
sent
off against us last game, didn't he?
Sent off with a horrible challenge. He did. I also think in centre back, they've got good ball players, but they're not really good box defenders, and they do a lot of. I think these centre backs, in a way, maybe not Kilman, because Kilman doesn't have great recovery pace as well, but maybe he's just not a top level defender. But like people like Todibo and stuff, like, they're much more comfortable playing more on the front foot, and they're playing a lot on the back foot under a lot of pressure because the midfield keeps leaking players forward as well, and they have to deal with those situations. And I think they're not the best box defenders as well. When crosses come in, they're very much. They lose their men a lot. They lose duels in the air. They're not the best defenders when it gets in the box. And I also think their fullbacks, I look at them, they're not the best defenders. Like Walker Peters, again, he's much more comfortable on the ball and playing on the front foot. When he's asked to defend and he's under pressure, he can be beaten. He's not the best defensively. So I think their team is geared towards playing a certain type of football, but they're kind of not good enough to play that kind of football as a dominant team, but they're also more geared towards playing that kind of football than they are towards playing more counter-attacking football. And I think that's leading to what we're seeing now, which is horrendous performances, because it's a mishmash, this squad, and it's been really. I think individually none of these players are terrible, but as a collective it's a horrific team.
Yeah. Do you feel that if they go down, because I'll think about this, like if West Ham go down and there's a fire sale, which looks like there could be, I think they could be down there for a few years, man. I really believe that. Like, who in their team that you think that will stay around, or even that they can buy, that's got it in them to win that league next season? I think they could be down there for a good few years.
The reason I don't is because even if there is a fire sale, because they'll have the most money in the Championship and they'll have the name, right? They'll just sign the best players to go back up, even if it's not, even if it means they'll have to sign a whole load of new players once they come up because they're not good enough for the Prem. They'll make sure they've got the best in Championship class, if you know what I mean. Because anyone in the Championship, they can just cherry pick the best players and sign them all, and they'll get promoted. And if they do keep Nuno, who's obviously got a lot of experience going back up, which I think would be the right thing to do in a weird way, even if he does send them down, I think they'll have the manager. I don't think they'll have trouble attracting Championship players to that club. So I actually don't think it'll be an issue coming straight back up, to be honest.
I don't know. I think it could be quite difficult for them. Yeah, look, we've actually got quite a decent record against West Ham. You know, you look back at it, we've only lost to them once or twice in the last 5-6 years.
What, at all?
Yeah. You know, it's a welcome kind of record, because there was a time where, you know, they were beating us quite regularly. We battered them last year at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We battered them this season already at the London Stadium. There's no reason. There is literally no reason, with the way West Ham are, why we can't go and batter them tomorrow. We've battered them already this season under Frank.
Have you seen our home form?
Yeah, I've seen our home form.
Have you seen our performance against Wolves?
I don't care.
So there's a reason.
No, there's no reason. Like, we've already battered them this season. This team
there's
are
no
terrible.
reason with the team we have, for sure, that we shouldn't be.
But what I'm saying is, even the way we've playing, we've still given them a hiding this season.
Yes, but even if you watch that game, it was very even up until they got a man sent off, and then we went and got a couple of goals. You know, one brilliant goal from Bergvall and another one from a set piece. But it's not like yes, we battered them and we deserved the win. Don't get me wrong. But I remember watching that game, wasn't completely convinced by us, even in that game, even though we won 3-0 against West Ham. There was quite an even game before the red card.
Yeah.
And they had Potter in that game as well, who they've obviously subsequently sacked, although they have gone worse since Potter's left, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's not they've gone better.
I feel like...
I'm not saying we won't batter them, I'm just saying there's definitely reasons why we won't.
I think when you're looking at our home games, the one against Brentford, Liverpool, Sunderland, Villa, there have been things in those games to suggest, Spurs' home, kind of the way we're playing at home is turning around a little bit, because that's a far cry to what the previous 5 games were at home that were absolutely dreadful. So if we can take the good things that we showed in that game, particularly the Brentford game where we, just played them off the park for the majority of the game, like if we play like that, we will batter them, surely. But we just can't let that first 45-minute against Villa. But obviously we're playing a very good Villa side. We're not playing a very good Villa side. They won't put us under as much pressure. Villa didn't let us get out for those first 45 minutes. That's not going to be the case with West Ham. We're going to be the ones that are going to be pushing them, hopefully further deeper into their half. So, look, for me, everything suggests Spurs will win this weekend, but that's always famous last words, isn't it? Famous last words. So
they were playing a team who hasn't won a game in 10. If they do win, the gap becomes 10 points then between us and them. There's a lot of motivation for them to win this game. For us, we just need to be getting back on track at home in the league. We need to be climbing that table again. And I think the signing of Gallagher should give the crowd just a little bit of a lift before the game. I think that those things can make a bit of a difference. I think if we can come out flying out the traps, hopefully, if we come out similar to what we did against Sunderland, where the only goal we did score was the goal from the corner, and apart from that, we actually didn't create too much apart from obviously being on top of them, and they struggled to get near our goal in that first half.
Yeah,
but we didn't
Sunderland are actually a defensively resolute side. West Ham are not.
Yeah, we didn't take full advantage of it.
Yeah.
So we need to do that in this game.
Yeah.
We need to make sure if we are as dominant as we were against Sunderland, we make it 2 or 3. We don't just let rest our laurels at 1.
Yeah.
That's important.
It's also very important for West Ham, this game, in terms of Nottingham Forest play Arsenal.
Yeah.
So they know probably if they get points in this game, they're making up some ground on the team above them. So there might be a bit of an extra incentive for West Ham. Not only are they playing Tottenham, they've got a serious opportunity to cover some ground on the teams above them. But I don't know. I just feel like it seems like a really toxic environment behind the scenes at West Ham. And can you see them avoiding the drop?
At the moment, I can't, because I can't see who they're catching. I can't see this good form coming, because at the moment the gaps is quite significant now. 7 points to Forest, 8 points to Leeds. I don't see anyone else getting dragged into it, really.
Yeah. All of a sudden, if they win this weekend, that gap cuts to 4 points?
Yeah, but still, I can see the other teams just picking up more points now in the end of the season than West Ham are currently. If they do win, obviously they give themselves more chance, but they need to hit some form, which could happen. You never know.
There's a whole half a season to go.
There's a lot of football, and it only takes 5 or 6 game run, and all of a sudden you're back right in the thick of it. So I'm not ruling out. I'm just looking at what I'm seeing at the moment, and it's really, I'm struggling to kind of see where this form is coming from. Now they have got some new signings through the door. Maybe that gives them a bit of a lift. Maybe that helps. Maybe Paquetá, if he leaves, as much as he's one of their best players, maybe it's a negative energy in the dressing room they don't need. Maybe that kind of, sometimes that can happen. Sometimes you see that like a player leave and you're thinking, what are they doing? But actually gets the whole team to rally a bit, and all of a sudden the performances start to get better. So that could possibly happen. I think Nuno is a good manager. There's no denying that. The jobs he has done at other clubs at a similar level to West Ham, I think is evidence that he's a good manager. He can manage at that level. So if he has,
why has it gone so bad for him though? Like, no one expected it to go this bad.
No,
for Nuno.
Of course not.
Like,
it's
everyone
Exactly.
Everyone expected it to get better, but in fact, it's got much, much worse. And I can't really put my finger on why it's got much, much worse.
Because of the mishmash of the squad. I think it's a appalling team. Not in terms of quality, in terms of how it's designed. I think it's terrible. The reason why they're slightly better under Potter is because they're more geared to play. The players are more like offensive players. It didn't work because they're still not good enough for that, but they're more suited to that than they are to playing how Nuno wants them to play, because they need to be more physically robust. They need more to be able to stop the opposition. They need more pace. They need to be better at box defending, and they're not good at any of that stuff. They're horrible at that stuff. So I think Nuno's really struggling to get a tune out of these players because they're not geared to his football at all. I don't think, that squad. So I think the mishmash of ideas and the lack of suitability is leading to Nuno really struggling at the moment, struggling badly.
Well, regardless, it's due to be a big, big day tomorrow in the Premier League. Tottenham against West Ham, 3 p.m. kickoff. You've got Sim and Daigle with you in the studio on the watch along, so tune in at 2:45. I'll be there at the game. I'll be there at the protest, so hopefully if you're there, get to say hi to a few faces tomorrow, which I'm very much looking forward to. And if you don't know about the protest, there's a protest starting on the corner of the South Stand outside, which is now the Beaver Town, which used to be the Corner Pin, at 2 p.m. So if you want to make your voices heard, get down there at 2 p.m. protest against the Tottenham board. And look, once you get in the stadium, make sure to support the team throughout the game. And let's just not have any sort of negative atmosphere while a ball's being kicked. And if there are frustrations, let's take it out on the team and the manager after the game. But I'll be there supporting the team through thick and thin from my seat in the stadium. And I'm very much looking forward, as I always am, to go to a Tottenham game tomorrow. So
we'll see when the whistle blows.
The cockerel will be crowing, mate. But I always look forward to going to games, no matter what state Spurs are in, apart from if it's Tim Sherwood days. And then I had to be dragged to go to the stadium. But I love going to the games, and I love seeing all the people and chatting about nonsense. So, yeah, I'll be there, looking forward to it. And whoever's there, come and say hi, and see Sim and Daigle on the watch along.